Last class. What did we do? We got to making this dude, this here dude, and it was pretty fun. Very angry guy, but he looks pretty cool. So, what I wanted to kind of finish off was this guy, the this stuff in the background. All right, so let's finish that off, and if that doesn't take us to the end of class, then we'll knock out Mr. Kitty Cat over here. Alright, now that my autosave is done holding my computer hostage, we can continue. So let's hide this guy from our selection. I'm gonna hit F on my keyboard, go into the front view, and this is a relatively simple piece to make. So I'm just gonna start off. No, actually, I'm gonna start off with a box. Just because of these pieces right here, I'm gonna start it off with a box and then build from the center. Did I say box? I meant plane. I'm gonna start it off with a plane. Alright, just start boom like that. And I'm going to make sure that my length and width are the same. Just do 3 by 3. The exact same. I want it to be a perfect square. If I hit F4, you can see that I've got some okay topology here. I'm gonna do, let's do 10 by 10. Okay, now let me Alt X. Alright. Let's see. Actually, okay, so we're gonna do 2.5, and Control C, Control V. Alright, now make sure that this guy is like that on there. Alright. Okay. This isn't bad. Alright. So I'm just gonna throw an edit poly on this guy. What are you doing? Edit poly, not edit path. Jeez Louise. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I'm gonna grab these corner pockets, right click, just do a quick chamfer. Let's do 0, so it's completely straight. Yes on the keyboard, and I'm just gonna right click. I'm gonna connect these guys. Connect, right, and the moment I connected it, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, I turned them into quads essentially, right? turning them into quads. Alright, connect. Alright, so I'm gonna hit ring, right click, I'm gonna connect this guy to one, ring, connect once again. Delete this, select this guy, right click, cap. Right now when I select this guy and I hit geopoly, we're gonna get ourselves a nice round circle. Alright, so now we can just scale this guy up. Nope, not like that. What's wrong with our scale? Nothing. Oh, okay. We're in the wrong view. So, just gonna scale this guy all the way out, like so. So let's go to our view again. Alright, so I'm thinking I might want more polygons. So I might throw a turbo smooth on this guy. Let's do let's do 2. Let me see what 2 looks like. And throw an edit poly on, select these, and then right click cap, and then do my my geopoly again. And then no. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. So I think we're gonna need to do just cut this out and maybe do 1. Let's see. Yeah, might have to go. Let's see. Let's cap this. Control. Nope. It's not set to geopoly still. Alright. So F on the keyboard. Alright. I'm gonna keep it right here for a second. Alright, my edges aren't touching. No, it's touching. Is it touching? No, let's make sure. Just want to get it to that edge. Hit 1 on the keyboard. And then connect these guys. And I'm gonna delete this half. Let's see. Now because the idea is I want to get this this curve already in here, and then I can separate it and do my thing with it and all that stuff. But I'm starting to think it's unnecessary and that we can just manipulate it ourselves. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just I'm gonna go ahead and separate this guy. Separate this guy from that guy, and I'm actually gonna select all of this and delete it. this guy though. And then I'm gonna use the rest of the polygons that I have to create this shape. I could use this. Let's see. Pull this guy down, and then we can just chamfer this guy, like so. Okay. And all I want to do is make sure that one side is right. You guys know me. I'm gonna make sure that this side is correct, and then I can just symmetry it. Just actually scale this guy down, pull this guy right there. What I'm doing is I'm making sure my silhouette is actually correct. You know? Then delete that side, right? Because we don't need it anymore. And actually, I can delete this vert as well. Control backspace. Just hit the symmetry modifier on this bad boy. One on the keyboard, hit E, rotate about 4 to 5, and we got ourselves a nice little sprocket piece. Nice little sprocket piece. And for this piece, I'm just gonna delete this and just start with a new cylinder and kind of finish this guy out within the next 5. Alright, so now I'm going to go into my edit poly. I'm gonna increase this to about 20 sides. Then hit in edit poly on top. Select this guy, Control and I to select the inverse, which is everything else. Delete, Alt X to go into X-ray mode. Alright, I've got my 20 sides going. Alright, so the next thing I want to do now is I'm just going to build out this little tunnel shape they've got going. Using my new handy dandy shape. I'm just going to select the outer edge like that. And then rotate a little bit. Boom. Alright, so go back into my front view, make sure. And then boom, like so. Alright, and I think it's like a kind of like a tubey thing, so I'm just gonna pull these guys all the way back so that I can I'll make that piece a little different. And then I'm just gonna scale it out for this last metal piece that you see right back there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, hit W, shift, drag to drag those polygons out. And then now I can pull this guy out like so. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit F4, Alt and X. Alright, so this second part kind of has this, it looks like a kind of like a rubbery material. So I'm gonna select that guy, ring it, right click, connect. I'm gonna add, let's add 3, and then we're going to extrude these guys. Maybe we go in with them. Alright, maybe instead of going up, we go down. When they go low, we go high. Does anybody know who said those infamous words? 5 points to the student who can name the person that said that quote.
Michelle.
Wow, that was quick. Nice. Nice, nice,
Who?
nice. Alright, so I'm gonna chamfer this other piece as well. I'm just gonna make it smooth because it's like that smooth that piece. I'm gonna add maybe 3 of these guys. I'm still gonna, you know, extrude this little piece right here. But yeah, we're almost done with this guy. I'm gonna do the same one over at the bottom so that these bevels match. I'm gonna select this inside piece right here, and if I hit shift and drag backwards, it's just gonna make my tunnel for me. But instead, actually, let me hit R. I'm gonna scale it in like so, 1 time, 2 times, and then I'm just gonna push this guy in like so. Right, I'm actually gonna delete that back piece, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this guy. I want to add this to it. I'm gonna add a chamfer right here, and I'm gonna reduce this guy quite a bit. I'm gonna do 2. Yeah, and it'll give me a nice highlight in there. All right. So it's like black and silverish. That's fine for now. This is fine for now. Let's throw a turbo smooth on it and see what we get. Alright. So we're getting our rubber piece, but we're not getting a good transition between these guys right here. So I'm gonna need to add a locking loop right in here so that this edge right here is hard. And I know it's hard to see it if I don't have like a decent material on there. So let me add this little gray shader on so you guys can just see it a little bit better, see what I'm talking about. So when I turn this on, you can see it kind of gives us like this Gumby-ish transition right there, and there's no real definition to it, but I want that. So I'm just gonna go in here and then add a locking loop. So if I chamfer this, I'm gonna do 1 check like that, and now you guys will see that whenever we turbo smooth it, right, we have a nice sharper definition right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing here at this bottom piece. But instead of doing the chamfer, I'm gonna add a loop. I'm just gonna add this swift loop and then just bring this edge right here. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna control that edge flow and tighten it up, right? So if I control Z it for you, you guys can see the difference. Control Z, control Y. All right. So now we've got that piece. The next thing we need to really do to finalize this guy is we need to make this little sprocket piece, this little circular. So I'm just gonna use a cylinder. No, actually, this is when. No, we'll use a cylinder. It's not trying to thug it out. Just use a cylinder and call it a day. I don't want to confuse nobody. Alright, remember it's a 2-step operation whenever you're making cylinders. Just gonna remove all this extra stuff I don't need. Just throw on an edit poly, control, and I delete the rest. Let's go in the front view, zoom in, Alt and X. Now I'm just gonna inset this guy. piece starts. So now I can just connect this, right click, connect, right, connect, and then I can right click, connect. I can't connect those because there's a line in between. So I'm just gonna Alt C, cut, Alt C. Just gonna one right there. I'm just gonna cut right there. And now I've got all of my shape in. Alright, so now if I hold down Shift and I drag, I can bring this guy in with me. But another thing I do is just, I'm gonna do this actually. FC scalar in. Actually, let's just do an inset. I'm gonna do an inset like so, and now I'll do my extrude like that, and now I can pull this guy in like so. We can do like select this edge, right click, just chamfer this guy a little bit like so. We should be good to go. So let's hit Alt X. Let's do turbo smooth and see what we get. Oh no, look at what happened. It seems we don't have any locking loops, so our shape turned into a Gumby. Alright, so now let's fix that. Alright, so there's a few ways you can do that. So I'm going to do this, select that guy right there, ring. I'm just going to do a right click. I'm going to chamfer that guy right there. I'm going to just give it one of these, like so. And now I can ring this inside, right click, connect. I'm going to connect these two. Just pull them up like so. Hit the check mark. And now, whenever we turbo smooth it, we're gonna get something like that. So this inside is a little funky-fied right now. So let's fix that. The easiest way to fix that is we need to triangulate this. And the problem, you guys know what the problem is. When you start seeing funky stuff happen in your mesh, you know that there's unwelded verts, overlapped faces, something's going on, and your mesh is trying to say, hey, before you try to render this, before you try to do anything, you might want to check on this guy because you're gonna get some funky looking results, right? So now that we've kind of cleaned that area up, look at the geo we're getting, right? And now look at here, look over here. We're gonna want to fix that. So to fix that, well, we can just I'm gonna select this guy, hit ring, right click, connect, right click, no, not split, connect. Right. Ring, right click, and then connect. Alright, so right now it's gonna connect two of those for us. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to add 4 of these, add 0, and then now, I'm only going to do it one time though. So, connect, connect. Right, I'm gonna do half just so I can show you guys what the difference in the geo between something that you leave like this versus something that you finally triangulate and you give quad topology to. Oh, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at how these I think the technical term for them are like buttholes. That's what people call them in the industry. Look at all these little buttholes right here that you have right here. You don't want that. You want smooth, clean topology, smooth, clean geo, and to get rid of that. So, yeah, let's do just that. Let's get rid of those. I don't want to have to kind of connect all this stuff again. I'm a very, very lazy person in that sense. So I'm just going to right click, connect this guy by one in the center, and then use that line as my symmetry line while I symmetrize this boondoggle, if it'll let me. Alright, so let's just hit E1 on the keyboard if it's not completely. Nope, I think it's Y? Yeah, there we go. There we go. No, the other way. This way. Right. And I told it not to weld it at the seam because I'm going to do the welding myself. Alright, so I wanted to slice it along the plane, but I do also want I want to weld it myself. So here we go. Here's our new bolt, our new found bolt here. We're going to hit E to go into our edit poly modifiers. Now we've got our stuff going. I'm going to select this border again, control select the vertices. Alright, now I'm going to right click and then weld. Alright, and then I'm going to just take that guy all the way off and then do it one time. Just so. Let's do 0.001. Alright, I think it's gonna give us the results we want. Boom. Just like that, we've got ourselves a clean mesh. Clean bolt, clean mesh, looks good. This would make your mom proud. Alright? This is the kind of stuff that would make a mama proud, right? Alright, so let's finish this guy out right quick. So now let's throw ourselves another one of these shaders on there. I'm gonna do the same to this. Nope, not you, but you. Alright, so let's hit Alt X, and this guy's pretty easy to finish out. So I'm just gonna throw a shell modifier on this guy. Shell it. Oh, Shelly. Oh, Shelly. We want you. I need you. I gotta have you. Alright. I've got my shell modifier. I'm gonna increase it a little bit more. Just get some decent coverage on this bad boy. I'm eventually gonna probably, let's go effect. I'm gonna center it to the object so I can now pull it right there. And then I'm gonna pull this guy right here. Where it's supposed to be. And what we can do now with this guy is I'm gonna Alt Q this guy so we got this guy isolated. I'm just gonna do B, throw an edit poly modifier, and there's two ways we can do this. We can either bevel or chamfer. So I can right click, bevel this guy like so. Alright, this is one way to do it, and then the other way would be selecting these edges like so, and then just right click, then chamfer. Right, so there's a ton of ways to do, like if you guys haven't noticed, right, there's a ton of ways to do a ton of stuff in 3ds Max. There's a ton of different ways, and it's up to you to pick your poison. I'm just giving you all the ingredients for the poison. I don't know if that's a good analogy for a class, but I did it. Alright, so we've got our bevel in here. I kind of prefer this because the other way I have to like add more geo. This way I'm using the geo I've already laid out, and then I'm adding those bevels to the side. All right, so now that we've got our nice shiny bevel in here, actually, let's do the chamfer again. I'm gonna make let's do the chamfer. I'm gonna do 0 here, and then maybe increase it a little more. And then instead of 1, I'm gonna add a couple of these guys here. And then with the turbo smooth, that's what it does. Alright, but here's the cool thing about turbo smooth though. I'm gonna set it to, I'm gonna clear all of my my smoothing groups here. And then I'm gonna actually throw on auto smooth 45 and then turn on smoothing groups. And then actually we should turn off the smoothing groups. Clear all. Alright, so I kind of want it to smooth it based on the hard edges. So to do that, I'm going to take it from smooth 45, I'm going to do smooth 30. And hopefully this accentuates my hard edges. And then let's turn on smoothing. Here we go. Alright, just like that. So now I should have, whenever I turbo smooth it, it's not going to so I would do, so this is like another trick that, you know, we use in the industry. So I would do 2 of this, and then I would just throw 1 more turbo smooth on top. Right? And then you get a shape that looks like that. So this is another little trick that you guys can use to get your shape. So I'm just gonna scale this guy up a little bit more. Like that. All right, so that wasn't so arduous, was it? It wasn't so laborious. It's just 3 little pieces that we kind of had to square off. Let's see, what else do we have? I kind of like to differentiate some of this stuff sometimes, so you will, it's like modeling with textures, so to speak, kind of like modeling with textures. Not really. That's like green. Ugh. Okay, I just want a lighter. All I want is a lighter gray. I don't want any of that extra stuff. Because, you know, you see this is like a lighter gray. It's like a metallic kind of thing, and then it's like silver, black silver. So I just kind of want to emulate that a little bit. So I'm gonna cut this. So now it's on my, I don't need my base cylinder anymore since I've already modeled my shape. Now I can convert it to an editable poly, and then I can just select the pieces that I want to do what and texture them accordingly. So I'm gonna select this top piece right here, control select that, and then I'm just gonna grow it. Grow like that, and then I'm gonna throw this new one in there, and then actually, I'm gonna do 2 on the keyboard. Select this guy, control select this edge mode right here, and then just once again, just click grow. And this is going to be that black piece. So I'm just going to grow it one more, no, shrink. And then let's find a black material. Like that. Alright, so now we should have something that looks like that. And now we can throw our turbo smooth on top. Just like that. Right. can just group. We're gonna do bolt, and then I can just start to mirror this guy. Copy. Do one right there. Then mirror it again. And the Z. And boom. Just like that. And now we can appropriately place our bullet dude where he's coming out of that pipe. So man, they must have been doing some real trickery with this stuff, because there's no way that guy fits out of there. So I think what it is the idea is that he's like right here, right? And this is another thing I'm trying to teach you guys about stuff like this. What looks right to camera, or like what looks right in the final product in 3D space, might look ridiculous. It might not even work. Like, it might not even make any sense. Like, I matched what they had in there, and you guys can see that there's no way this guy could fit into that tunnel. So for marketing purposes, it works, right? For video game to play this, it would not work, right? But for, if this was like a marketing piece, which it is, if it's like a cover art for something, or if it's like a magazine, this is okay. What we're seeing in the render is all that matters, right? What we see through our camera here, this is all that matters. This is all we care about, right? We don't care that it can't really fit. I don't care. What matters to us is the marketing and the fact that it looks right. So yeah, that is that guy. So all right, we've got this guy pretty well in order. Am I missing anything from this guy? I think that's it. Okay, the little cloud stuff. Let's see. Alright, so let's make the little cloud stuff too. You guys know how to do this stuff by now. But it's the same process, right? It's the same process that we use to make the clouds themselves, which is I would just grab a box. So I'm just gonna go F here. Let's hide this selection, hide this guy. Alright, so we're done with that. So we're gonna finish it out with these little clouds, and that'll wrap it up, I think. I think if with 30 minutes, I think if I do the clouds, I think yeah, we might not have time for the kitty cat, but we'll get somewhere today. All right, so now let's do the clouds. These should be relatively easy for you guys now. You guys know with this, let's just do 4, 4, 4. No, let's do 2, 2, and 2. No, 1, 1, 1. Alright, better. Let's do 10, 10, and 10. And then let's hit F4 so we can see what we've done. Alright, and now let's actually, I'm gonna make a duplicate of this just because I might want to use it again later for something else. Let's throw a sphere file on this guy. Let's throw a sphere file. Right, now we've got our base, little base dude. We can convert this guy to an editable poly because he's ripe for using right now. So let's maybe throw one more turbo smooth on him and then convert this to an editable poly. And then I'm gonna throw a displacement modifier on there. Not this displace mesh WSM, there's just actually just one that says displace. Now that our modifier is on, I'm gonna make sure that it's on there spherically, and then I'm gonna hit M on my keyboard, and we're gonna find our the displacement we used for the other ones. So is it environment? Okay, it was here. So we've made these before, but I'm gonna use a cellular. And I'm gonna throw that cellular into my bitmap slot or my map slot, and then use it as an instance. All right. So let's go here. I'm gonna throw a white material on it. Alright, so here we have our material, and then I'm gonna increase the strength, right? So when I start to increase the strength, you can see we're starting to get this kind of amorphous, kind of cloud-looking shapes, right? And we can start using that to build our scene. So I'm just gonna scale this guy down, right? I'm gonna put this guy right here. Maybe increase the displacement a little bit more. I can go into my cellular here, right, and I can increase and decrease the size of them, right, and I can start getting different shapes, right, and it's really that easy, right? That's it. Like that's pretty much it. So now I'm just gonna, oh, actually, if I delete this, nope, Control Z. I'm gonna delete this guy, and then move this guy up here, make it a copy. Oh, okay, I know what's wrong. When I change that one, it changes the other one. So I'm gonna just make a duplicate in this one, and I'm gonna use this cellular for this guy, hit OK, and then do a variation map, right? I can use something. It's like this guy kind of looks deflated. Let me turn that off. But here we go. And another thing you can do with these is it's just a small rotation, right? You'll get a different one, like so. Maybe scale this guy up, and then you can throw like a symmetry modifier on this guy. One. Alright. Hit E on the keyboard. And then just use a symmetry modifier. You can really start to get some interesting things going on. FFD modifiers to mess with the shape and move it in place. Alright. So this stuff is, relatively straightforward when you start getting into the nitty-gritty of everything. So just gonna make a copy of that, scale it down, rotate it so I'm getting a different side, different shape. I didn't even have to make a new one, just using the same one that I already had. Alright, make a copy, rotate it a little bit again. Now it looks a little different. Maybe even scale it down a little bit itself. And maybe even I can reduce the strength of this one. Little things like that. Just bring this guy down here. Move this guy over like so. Make it a copy. Scale it down. Rotate it. And then reduce the strength so we're not getting as lumpy a cloud down here. Alright. And I would only imagine that there is the exact same thing on the other side. So what I usually do is I'll just mirror everything that I have on the X like that as a copy, and then I move it over like so. Alright, and this gives me something to start to kind of work with. Maybe I use these extras as extras. Rotate this guy like so. I'm just gonna delete him. Alright, so now let's unhide all of it. So cue this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this guy a little further out. Grab our little fluffy clouds here and pull them out front, so that we can all see them. Alright. Just like that. Hit F4. Alright, move these guys out just a little bit. Does anybody have any questions for me? Anything I can help with? Alright.
I think we're good.
Alright. Alright, so we've got about 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left. Is there anything that you guys want me to touch on before I move on or release you guys? Or are you guys good and you guys think you guys can handle your stuff for the weekend?
I'm good.
You guys good?
I think I speak for most of us when I say that we're good for the weekend in terms of modeling
Alright.
and surgery.
Alright, cool. So, yeah, this guy, guys, this stuff is available, will be available for you guys over the weekend to look at, and, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be it for this week. It was, it was nice. to see some of you guys' stuff. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with over the weekend. All right. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns or anything, don't hesitate to put it in the chat and the thread or whatever. I'll be available